everybody, it's me, Aline. It's a whole new video, a whole new vlog. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I'm so excited to be here with you. Today I've got a fun little lineup. If you're new here, my name is Aline. I am a writer and barista living in New York City. Now, I'm just a guy just like you. Like, I don't do this full time, and I try to make cozy, relatable content. So yeah, that's what we're about to do. It's currently almost 11:30. It is a Tuesday, and I have some things on my agenda. I did almost forget that I have a haircut today. Kind of wish that I had gotten my ass up earlier if I had known that my work period of my day was going to be a little bit shorter, but that's okay. For the most part, I'm just glad that I remembered my haircut, because I did read that you get a fee for not showing up, and that would have been like $60 and no haircut. Michelle, my sister, my roommate, my pal, she reminded me that I had my haircut today, so round of applause for her. It is like 70 degrees today. It is a scorcher, which is a shocking turn of events because that seems way too hot too soon. But I'm about to go to my neighborhood coffee shop, have a little write for about 2 hours, which is a good chunk of time. I am trying to launch my Substack this month. So I'm trying to stockpile some essays, poems, commentary pieces, short stories, all in my backlog, so that when I do launch my Substack, it will be less, you know, scrambling to post in live time. And I'm also currently working on the second draft of my first novel, and that's been going good. Definitely had a garbage writing week last week, so I'm excited to just scrap everything that I wrote last week and try again. I think I've ended up in a better place, so I'm excited about that. And then I'm gonna go to my haircut. My haircut's in Brooklyn, which is far, because I live on the Upper West Side, and I was just in Brooklyn on Sunday because my partner lives in Bushwick, so it's great. I love Brooklyn. It's just an hour underground. It's always long, but it is what it is. I'm excited to like get going. It's in Gowanus, so the transfer of trains is actually not that hard. But the pricing on this particular salon is like queer owned, and the pricing is controlled. It's like made to be an accessible price point, so that's also why I'm going, because I cannot do any more of these trims that are like $100. It's gonna make me poke my own eye out with a fork. Listen, I get it, maybe $6 for coffee, sure, 7, 8, sure, $80 for a haircut, fine. $100 for like you to just like do the thing that I do poorly in my bathroom with scissors at midnight? No! There's gotta be a limit somewhere, and that's mine. I cannot justify it right now. Even though, hairstylists of the world, my hat's off to you. You are beautiful people. Controversial take, I love talking to a hairstylist. I love it when they yap at me, and I love yapping back. Like, small talk is my jam, so long live the chair, but it's not in the budge. Especially not this month. This month, me and Michelle bought our tickets for our Europe trip in September. They were very affordable, but that plus a little extra nights out and new pants. My credit card bill is a little high this month. Then me and Michelle are gonna go and meet up with our friend Veronica and go see Challengers in Harlem. And then we're gonna go to my favorite Chinese noodle place called the Hand-Pulled Noodle. If you know, you know. Then that's my day. So I just thought I'd give you the rundown up top, because sometimes I'm not great at talking in between clips, but I wanna make sure that you know where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. All right, come along with me.
post coffee, post haircut, post second coffee of the day, post second work session of the day, and I'm headed back into the city. I just wanted to stop and say that that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna rush to catch my train, but I'll give you guys an update on everything later. But I'm gonna go see Challengers with my besties in Harlem, so come with me. Let's go catch the F train.
Hello everybody, so I'm back at my house. We just saw Challengers, we just went to get some noodles, and now we're back home. I wanted to talk about how much I loved the movie. I've been seeing more cinema this year than I usually do, and honestly loving it. Especially queer cinema with like really messy protagonists, and this one did not disappoint. I've never cared so much about tennis in my whole life, so it was nice to try something new for me. This is my haircut. I wanted to show it before I went to sleep. It's shorter than I thought it was gonna be, which is like the only thing. I've been trying to grow out my hair a little bit more to see how I feel, because I've had a bob since I was 20 years old. So it's been 6 years of really having my hair just like at this length. So I want to try growing it out a bit and seeing how it feels. But I do think that this is so much lighter. It's so much trendier than what I had before. You guys really didn't see it because I was always wearing it up for vlogs for the most part with my two little buns. It was just so heavy, and this is so light. Like, it just is really lovely, especially since most of you guys know this, but my hair isn't naturally curly. It's straight. So like, this is my natural hair texture, and this is a perm at the bottom, and it's growing out, so it's really tricky to get like haircuts that kind of work with both things going on in my hair. I've gotten perms done in New York before. They just end up getting so expensive, honestly, and they're not as good as the one I get back home in Montana when I visit my parents. Shout out to Burton's Classic Hair Salon. Shout out to Angel, my hairstylist back home, because she knows exactly how to do my perm. If I was on like a usual schedule, my preferred schedule for getting my hair permed, I would only get my hair done like twice a year. But the two perms I've gotten in the city, it looks really nice. They just don't last that long, and I can't justify the price for how quickly the treatment kind of starts to come out of my hair. So I am unable to afford to go home for the summer this year. So sad. Montana summers are like the best. But I'm trying to work with this instead. So I'm gonna grow it out a little bit. I would love to get it like down to here. I think that'd be cute. But it is not fully a bob. And it's kind of like cute and shaggy. It looks very 70s, which I kind of dig. I kind of look like that one guy from Daisy Jones and the Six, the brother. I like a cut that I can typically like play with, like feminine, masculine wise, because my style can veer from place to place, and it's kind of nice to be able to like switch it up. I think I'm gonna continue to play with like how I style it. This is just day one. It's not even clean hair. It was a dry cut, but I think we'll see how it goes. I am gonna head to sleep. I have an early morning tomorrow, being interviewed for a podcast about writing, and the hosts of the podcast are on UK time, and so I need to get some sleep because the interview is at 8 a.m. so I don't want to be so crusty and incoherent for that. But yeah, today was a great day, all things considered, and I'm happy with some of the writing that I got done as well in the coffee shop, so that was nice.
Well, the honest answer is that Tom and I we're quite old and disillusioned, and I suppose we thought it might be nice to try and remember what it's like to be young and optimistic and have a world laid out there before you. Oh, yeah. So no pressure, that's what you're here to represent.
Oh God, not youth optimism.
What What genre is it that you write?
It's a fantasy novel.
Does that mean it's like 200,000 words long as well? Or no,
Yes, my first draft was like 103,000 words, which was
right.
hefty. So
Manageable, but hefty.
There's a lot of garbage. So there's a lot of stuff that gets to be trimmed down.
By the time you got rid of that, it's going to be about 10,000.
Exactly, 10,000 perfect words. I'm lucky enough that I live somewhere that I meet writers all the time, and the stories are also different. I think that if I was still living back where my parents live in Montana, I might feel a little more isolated, but it feels like there's a lot of people who are kind of experiencing the same thing in different ways on completely different timelines, so I think that's grounding.
Is that the reason for you moving to New York? It's interesting that you mentioned childhood. I always wonder if it's tied up with your kind of foundational conditions of worth. Like if your teacher went, oh, you're very good at telling stories, or your mom said, oh, I've just read your poem, it's lovely. And it's something as simple as that.
Hey everybody, so it is the morning now, and just did my podcast interview bright and early at 8 a.m. and I think it went really well. Still a lot of nerves. I wish that I had said a couple more things, but it's okay. I'm sure I talked a lot, so I'm trying to just give myself a pat on the back. They were really lovely. I don't know if the podcast will be out by the time this comes out. Didn't ask, probably should have. My mom is gonna be mad at me. Sorry, camera died. Anyway, I do feel like it was such a nice start to the day. Yesterday was so much fun, but it was definitely packed with several to-dos, and today still has some to-dos. Like I have to drop off my laundry and I have a work meeting in the evening, but other than that, the day is kind of my own. Also, I'm already up and ready and it's only 8:38, so that always feels kind of nice, and it's hard to do on my days off sometimes because I always try to at least get 8 or 9 hours of sleep on my days off, because if not, I rack up a sleep deficit like crazy. So I will say they asked me one question and we ended up having some banter, and I didn't get to answer the question because we were bantering, which I was grateful for. Really lovely moment about this other woman that they had interviewed who was a writer who was 101 years old and had just put out another novel. But the question was, when you're 90, what kind of work do you think you're going to be putting out? And just I've been thinking about this a lot, about how many different kinds of things I want to write and how exciting it is to be someone who's just making things, and especially coming up with stories. Because I've been a digital creator on the internet for so long, and my first entryway into writing online was all very personal, anecdotal stuff, it has been so freeing to realize that I don't have to mine my psyche and trauma and really deep, worst, darkest impulses for content. I can also just make stuff up. For instance, I know that for my Substack, I'm working on more short stories, and I've been wanting to write a New York City based fantasy for a really long time, but obviously it's not on the horizon for a while because my current project takes precedent. But I would love to maybe write a short story with a character I can expand later if I want. I don't know, I would love to write like something about like the Witch of Central Park West. There's a witch in Central Park like on an engraving of stone. Would love to, maybe it's a contemporary story, you know, kind of think Kiki's Delivery Service, but it's New York. Me and Michelle also joke that it would be so fun to write romance novels together under like one pen name in our 30s and 40s. I had such a great time. Those guys were so funny and fun, and I really can't wait to see how their podcast grows because it's so great. If you're a writer at all, I'd suggest giving it a listen. I'm gonna change out these pants because I don't want to sweat through them because I need to get these tailored this week. They're the Sonderhaus red plaid pants, and they look super cute from up top here because they fit great in the hip and the butt, but the actual like thigh of the leg are way too big and I look like un payaso. Now that it's stopped raining, maybe I'll go to the tailor, but maybe that's another girl's problem and that person is Aline of another era. Well, maybe when I go to the laundry, I'll bring my pants with me and go to the tailor. Alright, I'm gonna get to writing, have a cup of coffee, because I haven't had any, and we'll get started. Hello, it's much later now, actually. Much later. It's 4:30, 4-ish. so late afternoon, and I cleaned the entire living room while procrastinating doing stuff that I was supposed to do, and I also washed my hair. Not what I was supposed to do. Started sorting my laundry, which was what I was supposed to do, and really have just had a hard time focusing. I've just been on my phone so much. The news right now is like so heartbreaking. I have just had such a hard time focusing today, and yesterday I had this problem a little bit too. I have been working through some scenes in my novel that gave me a lot of trouble last week, and fixing issues that need to be fixed before I feel comfortable moving on, so we're almost there. I would like to kind of remedy those issues today, get that sorted, put me on a better track for the second half of the week. But I have a work meeting in the early evening, and I don't know, I could feel myself kind of going into a spiral, so instead of doing that, I am going to just like get ready, then do a couple things. If I can drop off my laundry today, I'll drop off my laundry today. If I can't manage it and I can only just sort it today and I run out of time, that's fine. Especially I think after spending the morning like talking about writing and talking about my future and what I dream for my future, and I don't know, there's a part of me that was just really hoping that I could kind of get it together in a more tangible way, like to be able to like see my work on the page and be like, ah, nice stuff. So I'm gonna get ready for the day. I feel like you guys have seen a lot of me getting ready, so I don't know if you want to see any of this. Yeah, I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. I'm excited to get out of the house today and see my work friends. I might do a Central Park bike ride at dusk just to like feel a little bit lighter, and then I'm coming home. Michelle's not gonna be home tonight, so I'll have the place to myself, and maybe I'll try to do another good pass at chapter 8, which is what I'm working on right now. So this is kind of random. Me and my partner, I do have a partner, me and my girlfriend, we just celebrated 3 years together in April, so it's already been 3 years in 1 month, baby. Time flies when you're having fun. And I just wanted to say a little bit about it. I said this years ago, but me and Ellis, my partner, we have very different relationships with the internet, you know? I have been vlogging since I was, what, like 15? This is a kind of weird thing that I do, and it's not necessarily like for everyone, and just because I have chosen to like do this with my youth, it's not mean that like someone else, because they're with me, has to be a part of this like performance, right? I think that our relationship is so special and is so sincere, and I would hate for it to get muddled or put pressure on because of anything like this. But we just did our 3-year, and honestly, I think that I've definitely had anxiety sometimes about being in a relationship so young. Like, to me, meeting somebody at 23 and being quite serious with them for a really long time is kind of spooky. I also never thought it would happen. I was definitely not looking for anything in that vein. When we met, we really just met up as friends, really. And I've been so lucky that it's evolved into something so special. I've said before, they are the love of my life. Something that I've been working on while being in this is not like shying away from the relationship itself, because I'm kind of spooked by the idea that there's still like so much time for stuff to blow up and go sideways, like go wrong. I just gotta say, like, I just never thought that love like this existed. I genuinely have had pretty like tumultuous relationships, if you can even call them that. I feel like I was just like a real master of the situationship. This is really the first time that I've ever found somebody that I just like liked this much, and I don't think that I would have stuck around with anybody who wasn't this good. There's plenty of time for stuff to like not work out, and I would like to think that I've done a lot of work on myself, so if that happens, I'm gonna be okay. And I have a rich full life, they have a rich full life. I think that we will try to root for each other no matter what, but it is so cool to be like, oh, you possess attributes and features, and you do things and show up in this relationship in ways that I probably wouldn't even have thought to put on a list, wouldn't have thought to dream up in my wildest fantasies. I I think when you've been in relationships where you've had to bargain and negotiate and make huge compromises to also limit your own expectations of somebody, it's kind of crazy to be in something where I feel like, you know, we've just grown stronger with every passing year, and I love them more than I've ever loved them. I feel like when we're together, it's like so fun and so funny, and yet there's so much like understanding from being together for a long time. So I know that that's kind of cringe and nobody wants to hear about how good somebody's relationship is, low-key. And it's kind of like a grating thing to bring up in the middle of a vlog, being like, I struggle with attention, but I'm just so adored. I don't talk about it all the time on here, but I just want to let y'all know that we just celebrated 3 years and it's going really good. So I'm really excited to see about like what the future holds for us. Talked about moving in together in like a year and a half, potentially when this lease is up, but we're also in no hurry. Subversive, because lesbians are not known for being people who take their time living together. We are really set on, because we're so young, making sure that we are going at things with no pressure, and we're going to continue to really invest in our independent young lives. That's what I gotta say on that. So I'm gonna get ready for my meeting and talk to you guys soon. So I'm back at the house now, my house. After work, I went and I took a walk in the park, a long walk in the park with my partner Ellis, who had a doctor's appointment in the area. And so when I got off work, we got to hang out, which I wasn't expecting to happen today, which was lovely. I want your love, I want your revenge, I want your love, I want to be revenge. Work was really nice today. I had such a hard day yesterday, I didn't even vlog, which I feel like is important to say, because genuinely I try to just focus on positive, try to just mostly document days where I feel up for it now that I'm like wiser and not 16. A vlog is not a diary, like a vlog is not a therapist. I will say that I have been having some hard times with focusing and writing and creativity, just like feeling absolute like brain rot, if I'm being real. I hate that, actually. Something about me is I hate that. It's hard not to tie your worth to your work. Like, I have tried to separate the two as much as possible. I think I'm better at it on some days than I am on others. That's because usually my creativity is always in flux, and so if it's going down, it always comes up. But I've had just basically like a week of really struggling. And then paired with the fact, I'm trying not to overshare, but this is a bit of a TMI. I don't really care, but I think it is important for people who experience periods or menstruate. But like, I had my IUD taken out last month, and I've had an IUD for the last 5 years. I haven't had periods for the last 5 years. Man, I really forgot how much the self-maintenance of having your period is like, it's just like the worst. It's just the worst. I feel like 13 again almost, like with how frustrated I am about this. Tampons and pads are expensive, and when I started it I didn't have any at all because I hadn't been having that kind of a cycle for 5 years. It was shit. I cried at work because my coworker dropped my blackberries that I had bought, and the blackberries were like $6, so I went downstairs after being like, it's fine, and I cried. It was a lot. But then I had a meetup with a new friend and a customer. Ooh. So I went and hung out with a customer and friend, and we had a bit of a co-working hang. And there are moments where I feel like it's time to self-isolate, and there are moments when it is appropriate to like reach out to community, and it's nice to be with friends and put on a good face and just like distract yourself. And that's what I needed yesterday. So we ended up working together for like 2 hours, and everything that I ended up writing I really loved, so it worked out well. Sorry, she's just so cute. She's purring so loud. Hey, pretty girl. So anyway, it ended up being a really nice end to the day, and I feel so much better about where the book is. And now I'm gonna make cake. I'm gonna make a tres leches cake. One of my coworkers, he's having a birthday. He's Mexican, and he was talking about how tres leches is his favorite cake. And I promised him I would bring him a slice of mine on his birthday because I make an incredible tres leches. Alright, so that's the update. Hello everybody. So I just got done at my running class. I was so relieved because truly I cut it so close. I thought that I could make better time going on a bike, and I think I did, but then I definitely got lost because I was looking for a bike dock that I don't usually use, and I thought it was on a different block, and then I got all mixed around, and it was just kind of embarrassing. So I arrived like 6 minutes late to my class. Luckily the front desk people were so sweet, and they were just like, oh no, go in, go in. I managed to get in. I ran my little heart out, but at one point I was running a literal like 8:50 mile, which is so fast. Granted, it was only for like a 90-second interval, but you know, that's pretty cute. Last time I made a tres leches, it was just a little dry, but the point of a tres leches is that it's a wet cake, and I'm just really excited. I think it's actually gonna be delicious. Now I'm going to shower, rinse off, and me and Michelle are gonna watch that new movie with Anne Hathaway and the not Harry Styles guy, so lots to look forward to. Michelle already made a lovely cheese board for us to enjoy because she had a little dinner party last night, so I get to enjoy the fruits of her labor, and I'm really excited. It's gonna be a lovely evening. It's just been a nice day, so can't complain.
Can I have chicken nuggets? Cool. What do you want?
A BLT.
BLT? Fries?
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of fries.
And a cookie plate.
And a cookie plate.